big part to play in it as well. Whether you're born someone who's particularly determined and tenacious, you know, you have that ability to push yourself. Also, I'm very lucky that I come, you know, for me, my family was always very sporty, and my dad is very determined. So I think I learned a lot of characteristics of him very young, because I saw his success. I saw how tenacious and you know, how he would be really aggressive and attack in the races, and I was like, wow, I want to be like him.
Was that a kind of bonding experience with your father, the cycling?
Definitely. It was something that we had in common. It was a big part of what we had in common was going and racing, going to events and racing, and sneaking my bike in the back of the car when my mum said I was too young to start track racing. Put a blanket over it, put his bike on top, and he'd sneak my bag in the car, and I'd be like, I'm going with Dad, I'm just gonna, you know, keep Dad company today. So it was a bit of a fib, but it definitely had a big part to play at spending time with him and sort of building that. So yeah, it's something we definitely have in common. For me, my biggest confidence builder was feeling 100% prepared. Right. And to a point where, you know, slightly OCD, sort of weeks before I'd go to competition, my bag would be pretty much packed with everything that I could be packed with. And I would fold my cycle gear in a particular way, and I'd put it in little bags for each day of competition, probably label the bags as well, so that I didn't even have to, I'd get to competition and there would be my spare bag with my spare skin suit, my spare skin suit, there's pins, spare pins, you know, the first aid kit, all things just in case. Because in my mind, the fact that my training was done to that level, and then all those little processes were done to the same level, I got to the day and thought, you know what, I am so ready for this right now. And that gave me my confidence. Some people just think that's weird in the team, obviously, they've shared rooms with me. But yeah, for me it was about preparedness, really. Okay. So being disappointed in your performance is something that happens on a daily basis, to be honest. So no one's more disappointed than you are when you go to competition and really mess it up. Oh, you know, you don't need anybody to say one word to you, because already inside you're like, oh, you know, you take it with you and you just like, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. You know, that's really hard. So the fear of failure is a really strong and relevant and familiar drive.
Is it necessary though, as well?
Oh, maybe. Because, yeah, we were talking about it. He was like, well, I think it might be like an ingredient. Because fear of failure is usually far more effective, like the way it would affect you, rather than the anticipation of success and what that feels like. And quite often when you succeed, you're like, well, I did train really hard for that for the last decade, so yeah, it should have happened really, shouldn't it? So, oh well, let's move on. Whereas if you do something wrong, it's, you know, you're playing it over and over and over, and you're like, oh, I need to be better, how am I going to be better? I'm not going to do that again. It won't catch me out a second time. But
do you even beat yourself up when you win?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Because you can always find a way of, I could have done that better. Yeah.
And you cry a lot. And I remember you saying, maybe when I retire, there'll be no more crying.
Yeah.
Was that ever kind of knocked out of you? Did anyone take you aside and go, look, do you know what, you need to leave the tears aside? It's
oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? So many people say, you know, you shouldn't be so open about your insecurities. You shouldn't show your emotion because it shows weakness to your competitors. And I was like, but hey, I'm still winning. So if this is the way that I manage my feelings, so what?
Yeah.
Because on race day, my legs will do the talking. And when it's done, probably when I cross the finish line, even when I've won, I probably will cry, because it's such a massive relief and it means so much to me, and I've pushed so hard and put so much into it, so much emotion into it. I don't think you'd pursue career as an elite athlete unless you had something in there that really, it meant something. Yeah. Because otherwise you think, why am I doing this? Why am I turning left for a living? Left, I go left, I go from A to A, not even A to B, A, back round to A, to A, to A, to A. Why? Why would I do this? So you have to have something that, you know, it really has to come from there, I think, within. Yeah. And I'm quite happy to let that out, and to be honest, I think I engage so much with how it feels, it's difficult to contain. Although I don't cry much, but then I did cry last Sunday on the last episode of Pole Dart, because that was quite emotional.
And how many hours were you training
Well, we're in training for about 6 hours a day.
Okay, so your whole life is circumnavigated by routine and training and meeting the same people. So then to wake up the next morning and not have, I mean, I'm sure you had a whole host of interviews and press lined up, but what does that feel, what did it feel like?
Terrifying, to be honest. It took me a long time to break free of so many of my habits, to a point where I'd wake up and think, oh, I haven't filled my whereabouts out. No, nobody cares anymore, Vicky. It doesn't matter. You don't have to fill your whereabouts out for the dope control officers come. You've changed your agenda for the day. Quick, you need to log in and change. No, things like that. And not having a 4-year plan. Yeah. Not having a week plan. Everything I had.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, 6 weeks planning in advance was about the minimum I ever had. So I knew exactly what was happening. So thinking, what should I do today? Well, I can do anything. Well, I don't know what I want to do. What should I do? Oh, I don't know.
But did that feeling of I could do anything, did it fill you with numbness, sadness? Was it, oh my God, this is a whole new chapter?
Overwhelming, I think. Okay. Probably a little bit overwhelming, the idea of having the ability to be, spontaneous. I still haven't managed that yet. I'm still working on that. Still. But just having the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it. You know, like, I'm going to stand up for ages. I'm going to go for a run. That's so reckless. The first few times I went running, I was like, wow, I'm running, this is reckless. Imagine, what it's doing to my knees. I could twist my ankle at any moment here. And that felt really kind of crazy.
Did it? Yeah.
Because I was just like, I feel like free and, Yeah. So when you take that big part away, you're like, what am I left with now? What's left? And I really didn't feel there was much for a long time. Like I haven't got anything if I don't have the cycling. And that's why I was so keen to sort of pack it all away immediately, because I was like, I don't want to look back, I want to look forward. So I had to try and find something else, something new to look forward to, because I don't want to live in the past. Yeah. As proud as I am of my achievements and how blessed I am to have had the opportunities I've had, and I really am grateful for everyone who's helped me along the way, because I didn't want to hold on to it or be drawn back in some ways, because there were days when I thought, oh, should I make a comeback? I could still do it. Can I still do it? And I'd do some weights and I'd be like, yeah, I reckon. And then I'm like, Vicky, what's happening? Because usually when you're feeling low, you think I'll go back to it. So it was like an insecurity thing. Oh, I used to be good at that. Maybe I should go back. The truth is, they didn't want me back, and they're never going to have me back. So I was like, come on, let's break out of that.
You, obviously, when you started cycling, you were considered very slender. It was a slightly different physique.
Puny.
Yes.
Puny is the word.
And you worked so hard to become strong, and you were doing weights next to all the guys. And then when you stopped cycling, tell us about how you felt about your body then, and the changes that you saw.
Oh, I tell you, it was like, it was really strange, because you spend so much time building, and everyone's like, you need to be bigger and stronger, and every time you get a bit bigger, you're like, yes, and Chris Hoy would say, your thighs are looking bigger, and I was like, in a muscly way, and he'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, oh, get in, and I'd be like walking around the rest of the day going, yeah, I feel good, it's working. So this is the things that used to make you tick. And then suddenly I remember actually sitting on the lavvy, obviously, and I looked down at my legs and I thought, they don't look like mine anymore. They don't look like my legs anymore, and that feels weird, like a kind of disconnect with the way I looked, because my muscle just disappeared, like 8.5 kilos of muscle just disappeared. And I was like, I was planning to potentially to start using a wheelchair in order to waste my muscle, because I thought it was going to be hard to lose. I was dreaming. Stop weightlifting, gone. Which is quite depressing, because then when you just change so rapidly, I was like, this doesn't look like my body anymore. Where did my bum go? Can you imagine? No, there is a sport out there.
But you're still a bit too tall, you said.
No, for a jump jockey, not for a flat jockey. I'm too tall to be a flat racing jockey and too heavy, which is a bit shocking. But anyway, I've learned a lot about that world. That's a very interesting world. How those guys keep their weight down just blows my mind.
In the sense that they are meticulous, they watch.
Well, they don't eat. Really? I don't know how they do what they do. Having started training, and I've been spending some time in Newmarket at the British Racing School, like riding out on these race horses, how much strength you need, and how you can do it without eating breakfast blows my mind. On a cup of tea and a couple of cigarettes, I'm like, no, I I can't.
Is that what a lot of them are?
Oh yeah, they suppress their appetite with a lot of, I mean, they're getting better now apparently, but a lot of them smoke because to keep the weight down, they can't eat, they can't afford to eat anything.
So this is anathema to everything you have been talking about.
Crazy, I know. I've been like, eat, and they're like, don't eat. Oh my god. You have to, because it's physically, can I just say, when I watch horse racing, I usually watch the horses anyway. But having experienced what it's like to control a racehorse, wow, you have to be strong, really strong. I mean, it's 500 kilos of muscle saying I want to go that way, and you have to sort of, because you can't control it, you just have to try and be like, please submit to my commands. I'd really like it if you'd stop now, because ultimately, with all your strength pulling against it, there's only like 50 something kilos pulling against 500. You've got no chance. And it's an isometric as well, so you have your arms locked in a position, you just have to hold it. They're like, don't give them any or take any more, just hold it. It's really hard work. And sort of Betfair approached me and said, would you be interested in training up as a jockey? You know? And I read the proposal and I was like, and then I read it again and thought, do you know what? That really appeals to me actually. Something completely different, a new challenge. I've always wanted to be able to ride horses. Riding horses at speed appeals to me. I don't know why, it just does. And just something to get out of bed and train for every day. It is risky, but then I think to myself, you've got to, I think for me, challenging and improving and growing and trying to learn a little bit more is what really interests me.
Is that what drives you?
It does drive me. Okay. Like pushing forward. Like in training, I never had trouble. Everyone's like, do you ever like struggle with motivation? No, because you know, when you plot your success on a graph in training and you see it's moving in the right direction, I was like, oh, I love that feeling. I'm stronger than I was yesterday. I'm faster than I was last week. And I was just like, I can keep going and just keep pushing. So I always really enjoyed that process of trying to improve yourself. I think when you put yourself out there and you challenge yourself in any way, whether that's doing a course, something physical, and you feel that sense of, oh gosh, can't I? That's feeling alive. You know, that's like feeling really alive. Putting yourself out there, putting your head on the chopping block, feeling that kind of that sense of adrenaline. It could be fear, it could be excitement, it could be exhilaration, is what makes me feel alive, like a human being. I'd hate to feeling comfortable and secure in a nice place. It's all very well, you know, for a small proportion of your time, but I just want to experience life to its fullest. And for me, you have to put yourself out there to do it. And there's no shame in failing. I think personally, I'd feel more disappointed in myself if I didn't try, because if you don't try, you don't know what you're capable of. So I say, just keep trying, and if you fail, you say, well, I gave it my best shot. Move on, find something else.